Hey everyone, it's Andrew Doherty here again with Waterford Harbour Ties and Tales, and I'm back with another video because people seem to enjoy the other one very much. And this evening I'm back in Wexford, right across from the home, at Buttermilk Castle, or the castle as we always called it when we were children. That's the Minoan across and running up the way towards Cheap Point, the Russian side. Then you have Great Island. If you pan along down the embankment under Slieve Coilche, then you have the Campoil Pill, and up above that was Dunbrody. And then if we come down along the Shelbourne Bank down towards Nuke, and in here then St. Catherine's Bay, although we only ever called it the Larch Ditch. And then I suppose the most important aspect to it, well, for the name itself anyway, is the Castle Weir, which is just out here. Anyway, there was a tower house to protect this fishing weir, and that's what I was going to look at this evening. But interestingly, Billy Colfer had a different name for, well, an earlier name for Buttermilk Castle, and it was Skirarchy. Now I'm mispronouncing that, I have no doubt, but it was a Viking word and it was something to do with rocks. And interestingly, the Dunbrody Abbey had 3 fishing weirs when they were dissolved. One of them was Lescar Weir. Now, I think it's no coincidence. Lescar Weir, possibly the Rock Weir, and Billy Colfer's name for here, Skirarchy. So is this the Scar Weir? I'd put me house on it, I suppose, to be honest with you. Anyway, the castle is just behind me here, up in the trees. And I'm just going to pause this video because you don't want to see me trying to clamber up there on camera. I'm too old for that crack. Bear with me. Okay, and we're back. And I'm after coming up a couple of feet from the river. And I'm just about to come into what was Buttermilk Castle, which obviously dates to the time of the Weir, and most probably dates to the time of Dunbrody, 1200 plus. And you can see here the inside walls. Well, it's the back wall against the cliff, and then the side wall here on the Nuke side, and then the outer wall, or part of the outer wall, has fallen out towards the river. And I did mention that this was St. Catherine's Bay, and that's because St. Catherine's fortified church was up there on the promontory at Nuke. So again, 3 different buildings: the Dunbrody Abbey on Campoil Pill, St. Catherine's, and then the tower house here, built, it's presumed, to protect the fishermen, or protect the fishing weir more likely, and probably house monks or others associated with Dunbrody who fished it maybe on their behalf. Anyway, there's a lovely curvature here in the wall. I don't know if you can make it out or not, and maybe this video is too close, so bear with me a second and I'll just pan out a bit and see. And maybe not. Okay, this doesn't seem to be working very well for me. Oh, what the hell, it's not after getting wet. Anyway, you can see the walls inside, and then this curvature here comes around, and presumably it was for an entranceway in, probably protect them from the weather and from the wind. Just to turn around again, just to give you a sense of what they could see from up here. So you're looking out on the Weir, but you also have this very fine view of Waterford Harbour, all the way across onto the Waterford side and up along. So this is what remains of Buttermilk Castle, and what remains, unfortunately, of the old fishing weir that Jim Doherty would have fished when I was a child, Jim Dips. And fortunately Jim is now gone as well. But I think it's a fascinating spot. It's amazing archaeology, still here in place. And obviously I wrote a lot more about it in the second book, Waterford Harbour, Ties and Tales. Now, I did say in that there was an interesting personal story about the Weir, I beg your pardon, about Buttermilk Castle, and that was from my grandmother. So looking straight across there, obviously it's a video, what straight says you, but across there is Cheek Point, and the Russian side is facing down onto the river, and my grandmother lived over there. And in the late 20s, early 30s, she was only a child, and she was thrown out the slops one morning before she went to school. And people of my generation would probably know what a slop bucket was. It was where all the wastewater and bits and pieces were deposited into a bucket. So my grandmother, before she went to school, went out this very cold, frosty morning, and she brought him across the road and threw the slops bucket over the ditch. And as she did, the heat that was in the water rose up in the cold morning air, evaporated into the cold morning air, I guess, or steamed up. And at that very same time, across here, she could see smoke or dust rising from Buttermilk, and moments later the sound of crumbling rock. And apparently she was the only person to witness it. And that's the story my grandmother had. And I know Jim Hegarty and crew recorded it from her as well. My grandmother wasn't woman to tell stories or tall tales. So Buttermilk Castle, and what remains of it, and what remains of the fishing weir. Again, amazing archaeology, fantastic place name, and so well worth remembering. Thanks, I hope you enjoyed it again, and please God, we'll do another one.